What was fucking awesome as a kid, but sucks as an adult? Having a $100 in your bank account. Edit. Thanks for the awards. Noticed a few upset comments and just wanted to explain a little further. Used $100 because it's a term I thought most users would be aware of. 100 DKK, Danish currency, would be about 13 USD. Didn't intend to belittle anyone. Sorry it came off that way. I remember in school when I was like 10 we had to write an essay on how I would spend $1,000 in a day. We all wrote about getting huge houses and fancy limos, buying all the candy in the store and throwing huge parties. The teacher must have laughed so hard. Edit for anecdote. I just remembered. I was part of a Facebook group for London rental properties a few years back, as were some other internationals. This poor guy asked how much to live in London. Someone said, can be anywhere from £1,000 to £2,500, depending on which area. The guy replied, for how many years? I would pay most of my rent. Losing a tooth. Oh yes. Can you imagine running around showing your family, look, I lost a tooth. Doesn't it make me look adorable? And when you are a kid, a lost tooth makes you money. $. As an adult, it costs you way more than all the money the tooth fairy ever gave you. That's how the tooth fairy makes enough profit to give some back. And #X200B. Edit. As a response to the claim that it is a insurance in a kinda broken backwards system, the legend has it that the tooth fairy exchanged the child's tooth for a coin to show the value of one's teeth, so that one will take care of them. The child of today will look at the coin with big eyes, as he understands that it can be exchanged with Coca-Cola. The tooth fairy is said to have been devastated, but when the cash started flowing in, she too became corrupted and signed a pact with Sugar Demon. There is an illustration of this metamorphosis, but I cannot remember the name of the artist. Link to painting. Waking up in another place than you fell asleep. Not to get sappy, but I used to love when my dad would carry me into my bed after falling asleep in the car or on the couch. I would wake up when he was carrying but pretend to be asleep. It was such a nice feeling. He walked out on us right after my baby brother was born. My mom became pretty jaded and emotionally distant and would just drag him into bed whenever he fell asleep because she did not feel like carrying him to bed. I used to make it a point to carry him into his crib as gently as 12-year-old me could. Hope the little dude had that feeling too despite being in a broken home. Reminds me when I was younger. My older brother would carry me to bed as my dad had a bad back and I was very much my brother's little princess. Unfortunately, he got with a woman who was mentally unwell and he hasn't spoken to us for over 15 years. Sometimes I wish I could go back in time 30 years so I could snuggle my tiny face into his shoulder. Getting mail. I remember every day begging my parents if I got mail. I had pen pals. I got so excited when something came for me. Now I dread going to the mailbox because all that will be there are bills. Sounds like you need to find more pen pals. You can just send a letter to your family. They appreciate it. Ask them to write back. Getting letters. I wanted to get letters as a child, but now I'm happier when I don't see them. Now it's always someone who wants my money. Instead of relatives slipping you a few bucks. My brother-in-law sent $20 cash to my son for his 10th birthday and the envelope arrived torn open with no cash. I never thought I would commit murder over $20, but it's a good thing I don't know who did it. Makes me think of this joke. There was a man who worked for the post office whose job was to process all the mail that had illegible addresses. One day, a letter came addressed in a shaky handwriting to God with no address. He thought he should open it to see what it was about. The letter read, "Dear God, I am an 83-year-old widow, living on a very small pension. Yesterday someone stole my purse. It had $100 in it, which was all the money I had until my next pension check. Next Sunday is Christmas, and I had invited 2 of my friends over for dinner. Without that money, I have nothing to buy food with. I have no family to turn to, and you are my only hope. Can you please help me? Sincerely, Edna." The postal worker was touched. He showed the letter to all the other workers. Each one dug into his or her wallet and came up with a few pounds. By the time he made the rounds, he had collected $96, which they put into an envelope and sent to the woman. The rest of the day, all the workers felt a warm glow thinking of Edna and the dinner she would be able to share with her friends. Christmas came and went. A few days later, another letter came from the same old lady to God. All the workers gathered around while the letter was opened. It read, "Dear God, how can I ever thank you enough for what you did for me? Because of your gift of love, I was able to fix a glorious dinner for my friends. We had a very nice day and I told my friends of your wonderful gift. By the way, there was $4 missing. I think it must have been those robbing bastards at the post office. Spinning in circles. I try to do that now while holding my little one and I do about 2 spins before I'm lightheaded and dizzy as a drunk. Turning my head too fast makes me dizzy and nauseated lol. Getting up from the couch makes me dizzy FFS. Eating large quantities of candy in a single sitting. Yes. Still tastes great but gives me wicked heartburn sad face. Too much sugar can give me heartburn, but the more common side effect is a headache. I've discovered I get headaches if I don't get enough sleep, don't drink enough water, or eat too much sugar. Or any combination of the 3. The state fair. Especially now that I have to pay for everything. My parents took us to Disney World for a week as kids. I went for 4 days with my husband a few years ago and wanted to go home with how expensive everything was. I went home and thanked my parents for that trip. Depending on when those 2 trips happened, there was likely a considerable difference in cost even after adjusting for inflation. Relevant NY post summary here. Yep, went as a family of 6 for a week in 2000 and at the time it was $900. For everything. My dad wouldn't stop complaining about it, so I remember the number specifically went by myself again in 2021 and it was thousands of dollars for just me, and I didn't get to do nearly as much stuff as we did in 2000 either. That was with me budgeting. The thought of being an adult, growing up. Right? So you can do whatever you want to do, right? Lol. Yes. And then responsibilities started. I want to go back to playing, eating, sleeping and shitting when I want. Back to 16. When you were old enough to go out with friends but young enough to not be too tired to go out. Having no job. Having no job is awesome. It's having no money that sucks. I was just thinking yesterday about a period when I was unemployed in my early 20s. I was like shit, I wasn't doing anything with my life. Then I started thinking about how awesome it was to have so much free time. Staying awake till 2 in the morning as a teen, young adult. Yay baby. The possibilities are endless. Staying awake till 2 in the morning as a 40-something. This is gonna hurt in the morning. So one of the big parts people seem to forget about staying up till 2 a.m. as a kid is, it still fucking hurt the next day. Maybe you got through the morning okay, but by evening you were half dead. Hence teenagers staying up till 4 a.m. then sleeping until noon. If staying up late didn't hurt them, they wouldn't need to sleep till noon. Kids don't really know they're half dead and miserable when they're tired though, they just start making everybody else miserable. Summer. When you're a kid, it's 3 months of freedom from school. When you're an adult, you still have to go to work, but now it's sweltering hot and you're sweating your balls off all day, every day. This is the answer I was looking for. It's even harder if you are a working parent, trying to give your kid that super awesome summer while trying to keep your job. That balance between, I want to come play at the park with you, and, I really don't want to lose my job, is hard. Being an adult is having this conversation less and less frequently until you lose contact with them entirely. Hey, you doing anything for your birthday? Nah, I gotta work. Might do something that weekend, you wanna swing by? Sorry, I have to work. No worries, I understand. Sorry I couldn't get you anything, had a doctor's appointment, low on cash right now. It's fine, you know I don't expect anything. I wish we could hang out sometime. Same. Just been so busy lately, when I have a moment free from work I'm just too tired for much of anything, yeah I feel that. Man, remember the good old days? Yeah oh, sorry. Gotta go. Talk to you next week? Only if I'm not dead haha. Or it's the call, hey man, Alex's birthday is coming up and we're getting a cabin for the weekend. It's $250 a person plus food and alcohol. Saturday we're going to the casino. And it's a 3-hour drive north of the city. We're all taking Friday off and leaving at 9 a.m. You down? Sorry my sister's coming into town. But really you're just too broke to go. People coming to your house to visit and stay a few days. Seriously. I love my friends so much but holy shit I get so anxious having to keep people entertained for more than a night. On that same note however it is great having those friends that you are close enough with to come hang out and just exist next to each other. Late 20s here, one of my friends and I will literally have week-long sleepovers and have a great time. But we do strike a good balance between adventuring and just the calm, existing together, vibe. Staying awake late. I fucking hate it when I have to stay awake after 11 now. And sleepovers, more like crashing at someone's house nowadays. Hate sleeping at other people's places now. Their pillows are weird and it is too light, too hot or too cold. Just no. I hate that I always wake up first and then I have to work out whether to make myself a cup of tea, or just sit on the sofa waiting for the rest of the house to wake up before I can go home. Went over this with some friends when I crashed at their place last. They said, "We sleep like logs, bro. Just make yourself some breakfast and watch some TV or something. Use headphones. You're worried about noise." Did end up waking them when I was making coffee, so I just offered them each a cup too and all good. It's nice when you can actually relax around friends, and when crashing it has the same energy as if you've been roommates for years. Being an adult. I remember being in elementary school and looking at the 5th graders like, what wise and learned people. I couldn't wait to be so old and wonderful. I'm now 39. I look at 5th graders now and just want to smoosh their cheeks and tell them to never grow up. My daughter is in 5th grade and I swear I didn't look as old as she does. The other day she called me bro. Now I know how my mom felt when I called her dude. Staying home on a sick day. As a kid it was a huge victory. Got to stay in bed all day, watch TV, and having a parent tend to your every need. Then as an adult you're just thinking about the work you're gonna have to make up for and how you hope you don't need to go to a doctor. If you're really sick, sure. But as an adult I sometimes just barefaced lie about being sick and then lie in bed reading and watching TV all day, and that's pretty dope. I got COVID and I was legit sick, but that didn't stop me from laying in bed and binging all of Demon Slayer. I actually enjoy getting sick so I can do shit like that and not feel bad. Going to McDonald's. As a kid, it was a victory. As an adult, it's defeat and sadness. McShame. Ba da ba 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 mistake. Jim Gaffigan. Your metabolism actually doesn't change much between 20 to 60. You just move less. Source. I believe that. I think people generally are sedentary, refuse to correct bad habits, and form new bad habits over time. That's the real reason you put on weight. I mean, don't discount the major factor of work. Just walking regularly makes a big difference. The amount of time you lose that used to be even mild exercise time to commuting in a car and working in an office is massive. Then you also have chores like grocery shopping. Suddenly to go play ultimate frisbee in the park every day is a massive commitment. When as a kid or even in college it was a passive reality of simply something you did after school on your way home. Going to the mall. I used to like browsing stores, but now I just want to get what I need and go. I mean, most malls are also depressing vistas of empty storefronts bookended by a department store on life support these days.